and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and this is a Lone Star Flyer number 40 Cadillac Eldorado. This was an important cast for Lone Star as it was the final Flyers car to be produced. It was the only Flyers car to have no opening features as a result of cost cutting. The Eldorado was only in the range between 1975 and 1976. Here's a real 8th generation Eldorado it is based on. My example has had its tow hook broken off, though not all Eldorados had this cast in. It had some extra red paint covering the grille, while the rest of it was fairly thin and scratched across the body. The Lone Star Caddy had been promised as early as 1968, when it appeared on Impy box listings. Lone Star often promised more than they delivered, and this was certainly the case in 1970 when the Eldorado appeared in trades catalogues with the full complement of opening parts. Again, it showed up in the same catalogues for the 1971 editions, but all traces of the model disappeared until 1975. It finally got its release that year with its features cast shut. It was the only model to be released without its own picture box. It was sold mostly in blister pack cards or in plain Flyers boxes with a number 40 sticker attached. Strangely, on the base, this model is marked as a Flyer rather than Flyers. While it had Cadillac Eldorado cast into the base plate, all the material from Lone Star simply called it Cadillac. The Eldorado part was later blanked over, possibly indicating a licensing issue. During its short span, the Caddy came in a variety of colours. Most common is this light orange-red shade. In blisters, they came with a set of 4 spare wheels mounted to a roof rack. From what I can tell, these issues had no towing hook. Other colours included yellow, green and white. When the Flyers range was culled at the end of 1976, the Cadillac lived on briefly in the new Impy Majors lineup, towing a Tough Tots speedboat and trailer. The Flyer name from the base was blanked over for this issue. With no opening parts, it lent itself nicely to the new budget Impy range. These also had their interiors removed and windows blacked out. These Eldorados were painted in bronze mostly, though rare red and white models exist. These continued on in production until 1984. The car it is based on is the 8th generation Cadillac Eldorado, produced between 1967 and 1970. These utilised General Motors' E-body platform, which was used for their personal luxury car classification across their brands. It was a departure from the C-body they had used for the previous 7 iterations. This marked a shift from rear to front-wheel drive for the Eldorado. Its E-body stablemates for the 8th gen were the 2nd generation yet still rear-wheel drive Buick Riviera and then year-old Oldsmobile Tornado. 67 cars had a 429 cubic inch V8 teamed with a 3-speed automatic transmission. Front disc brakes were optional. It helped give Cadillac their best ever year for sales, with nearly 3 times the number of Eldorados sold compared to its previous high. The V8 was up to 472 cubic inches for 1968, while the front disc brakes became standard. With some minor styling upgrades, the 68 car again set an Eldorado sales record of 24,528 sold. This accounted for 11% of all Cadillac sales. 1969 and 1970 cars again had minor styling upgrades. For 1970, the new Cadillac 500 V8 was introduced, with the car proudly claiming 8.2 litres on a rectangular badge. The 8th generation saw a shift in design philosophy over the previous versions of the Eldorado. GM styling chief Bill Mitchell opted for a crisp, angular design to set it apart from the more streamlined Riviera and Tornado. Its rear-end design was a more modest version of the GMX Stiletto concept car of 1964. It was also the first and only Cadillac to have headlamps concealed behind movable covers on the 1967 and 68 cars. The rear passenger windows retracted horizontally into the C-pillar rather than vertically. Owing to the raw simplicity of this casting, I'm already at the point of reassembling it. I've placed the wheels on the base ready to push fit the suspension piece over the top of them. Then I insert the window piece, which has been polished after the few specks of paint were removed from it. Next, I pop in the washed pale blue plastic interior piece. Lastly, the base plate is ready to be connected using the cutouts in the body and front bumper protrusions, while the rear is secured with its original flathead screw. Here's how my Lone Star Flyers number 40 Cadillac Eldorado looked when I bought it. Aside from its patchy orange-red paint, someone had added a little extra paint onto the grille. The tow hook had been broken off, while it was otherwise generally untidy, namely those 5-spoke wheels. I've been eager to restore this model once I'd picked it up, being the last car to be introduced to the range with its lack of trim or opening parts. So let's take a look at what I've done with it. I must say this Ford Carnival or Spanish Red is a superb match to the original orange-red shade. The great thing about this high coat double acrylic is the lovely thick glossy sheen you get from it. The new coat of silver on the base works wonderfully alongside it on that grille. Here's my tow hook fix using one of the reproduction matchbox hooks from Steve Flowers Model Supplies. I'll leave a link in the description as usual. I also think I've not done too badly at restoring these Flyers 5-spokes. Often in the past I've struggled to get the trim right. Anyway, that is all from me for now. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer who hasn't yet subscribed, please do. It makes a huge difference to the channel and keeps you posted on all my new releases. Please leave a like and post your thoughts on this Flyers farewell model in the comments. But all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.